Okay, so just bear with us a moment, and Timpz will be set up soon, and he'll begin his exciting lecture on the theory of Sonic, which may or may not include stuff about speedrunning. You never know.
sidan. Annars kommer den skrapa upp mot huvudet eller vad som helst.
Okay. All right. You can hear me? All right. Timer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, theory of Sonic speedrun, you've got to talk fast.
All right. So I'm gonna try and mention a lot of like general stuff about the Sonic games and the Genesis games first. Like we'll take the boring parts first, and then we get into like stuff like glitches and things like that. So what I have here, if you can see that, is a program that's called Sonic ED2 for edit, and it's basically like you have these a disassembly of the ROM. Let's see. You have a disassembly of the ROM here with like the source code and everything, and you have these projects that people have prepared. So you have, yeah, this program is a little bit buggy sometimes. Like you can edit all the positions of the objects and whatever, and you can like also change them. Oh wait, that was a race apparently. No, what am I doing? I don't think the shortcuts are the same as on mine, but that doesn't matter. All you need to know is that you have these bits up here where it says object type and object ID and things like that. So like Sonic is one type of object, rings is one object, a row of 3 is another object, etc. And I'm going to talk a lot more about objects later. Right now I just want to highlight how the positioning system works. So if we take Sonic, you can see his position changing when I like drag him around. So you have the 0, 0 position in the top left corner right here, and then it increases as it goes right down. So Y is negative upwards and positive downwards, and then X is positive to the right side. And on screen at all times you only have 320 pixels by 224 pixels that is generated by the Genesis. But most emulators and TVs stretch it to be 320 by 240 pixels. Also, every pixel that you can see here in hex is divided into 256 subunits called subpixels, and that is for calculations such as like when you run, you don't want to have Sonic run at either 0, 1 frame per, or 1 pixel per frame, or 2 pixels per frame. You might want him to be able to accelerate in some like decent manner. So they use subpixels, we call them, to calculate that more accurately. We also have the layers. They're more of a side note, but you have like plane A, which is like the level itself, and then you have the plane B, which is like the background. And they can scroll independently. I think the Super Nintendo has 7 layers that can scroll independently. The Genesis only has 2. But you don't need more if you're clever about it. There are a lot of places in, for example, Sonic 3 and Knuckles where it seems like you have more layers than you do. And also there's a place in Wise 3, I think. That's also really like clever coding, you know. So like the way the level is made up is from tiles. And tiles are 8 by 8 pixel big blocks. You can see them here, and you can like change the palette to be like, right now we have the 3rd palette row for the grass, and you can see on the tiles over here like most of the level is made up of the 3rd palette row. The 1st palette row is like Sonic and Tails, and some enemies. Like this is his red sneakers and his wide eyes and whatever. And the second palette row is usually for like objects and whatnot, and the fourth one is like background usually. That's not really important for like speedrunning, but it's interesting to know, I think. So together with tiles, like when you make the tiles, you have a set number of tiles. We have 392 in hex. So like 10 in hex is 16. So we can check what it is actually. I'm interested now. So we have 392 in hex is, no wait, other way around. 914 tiles making up the first zone. And when we combine the tiles, we get blocks. And now it's, there we go. And a block is basically, yeah, it's like 4 tiles bunched together, but you can have some other properties to it, like solids. This particular block has, on path 0, it has solidity A4, and on path 1, you have solidity A4. And this is like the different kinds of solids you have, like this is solid ID 60. I don't know if any of these have that. Usually it's like these slopes or whatever. You can also like draw them backwards and upside down, etc. Palettes. And that is really useful because you might have different blocks, or the same block but with different properties in different parts of the level. For example, if you want to make this thing here a loop, you might have like first you want to have on path 0 on the left side, you want that not to be solid, so like you can actually run there. And on path 1 you want the left side to be solid but the right one not to be, etc. So that's how like the game operates that. This thing right here is a path switcher, so you can have a couple different path switchers. Basically, it's like in the code it says, okay, are you touching the ground or are you not touching the ground? And then it's the size, basically. So that's important because you have different path switchers, like I think Act 2 would be better for this, actually. Anyways, you have these path switchers, like you're not supposed to be able to jump over all this. And like if you make a hack, for example, and you make Tails be able to fly, and he can just like fly over this and be on the wrong path. Because you don't have to like touch the ground to actually switch the paths here from one to the other. I guess it's important for this loop right here. But these paths in the loops only change when you actually touch the ground. And so there's some minor differences regarding that. Anyways, after you got blocks, you can make chunks. And chunks are made up of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's 8 blocks, so it's 256 pixels, I think. It's 128 pixels, isn't it?
8 times 8? 64. 64. 64 long.
No. You have 8 times 8 times 2 times 8.
Oh. Then that's 256.
Yeah, that's 256, all right. They have a different system in Sonic 1 where they have larger chunks. You can use either, but this system gives you more versatility, I think. Anyways, you have like all these chunks and they have different kinds of solids. You can see the angles right here. Each block is assigned an angle. So FF is like the angle 0, while F8 is a little bit like less than 0. It's easier to look at the solids here. So this block has angle 0. You can see that because it's straight. And this angle has 45 degrees, which in hex is E0. And like, so it continues. That's how angles work. You basically take 360 degrees divided by 256 bits, or whatever. So in a chunk, you usually only have 2 rows of blocks that are solid. I don't really know exactly why, because I've heard that it's some kind of memory issue, that it would take up more memory or more space in the RAM or something. But I'm not entirely sure that's true. Either way, you can see that you have different colors here. You have yellow, you have black, you have white. White is what is called as ground, or just normal ground. And that is only solid upwards. So like you can stand on it, but like if you were coming with velocity from underwards, you would just go through, because it's not solid from the sides or underneath. The yellow blocks are known as ceiling blocks, and they are only solid to the bottom, to the left, and to the right, but not to the top. So you can like fall through them, but not jump up through them. And black is all solid. Yeah, I already explained solids. So yeah, something I can note is that this angle is used for trigonometry calculations whenever you jump. So if you're like on a slope over here, let's say this slope, E8 is the angle in hex. And so it the game has like a table of trigonometric values pre-calculated, so that the processor doesn't have to do that again. And then it calculates based on your speed and whatever with vector calculations. So I actually have an image to illustrate that, and this was the wrong map. Here we go. This is what vector calculation looks like in Sonic. So like you have your x velocity, basically how fast you're going in the x direction, and then your y velocity here, how fast you're going upwards, and you're just going upwards because you're running upwards on the slope. And then you have your jumping force right here, and it's perpendicular to the ground. And all of that together with vector addition becomes the resulting velocity in whatever direction that the calculation shows. It's usually, like on an upward slope, it's usually a lot higher and not that fast, and on a downward slope, it's usually pretty fast and not very high at all. So it kind of makes sense, like it's like in the real world. Anyways, I'm gonna start an emulator right now. I know there's an emulator ban on ESA, but I don't give a fuck. Actually, do I have that? No, I don't. No. I might have to download that quick, maybe, because I was planning on using it. Yeah, I need it. Damn. Last minute preparations. I'm gonna steal the internet from the laptop. No, it's stuck. It's really stuck. No, okay, there. There we go. How's the chat reacting? I can't see it, like I said.
Timpz living on the wild side.
Unable to connect to the internet. I just plugged it in, man. There's a special kind of emulator specifically for TASing that has a lot of tools that is useful for explaining how, like the running mechanics and jumping or whatever works. And I was planning on using that. Otherwise, my laptop is not even on. Why can't I connect to the internet? Do you know that?
No idea. Should be able to.
Because I need to download it from test videos. It's like 2 megabytes.
Guess I could get one of your USB and do it on the stream computer, in worst case.
Hang on. Yeah, the thing is that I can't do this without it.
Yeah.
So just give me like 1 minute and I'll be back. Whoops!
Hej då. Så, förlåt.
Hope that didn't hurt your ears too much. So yeah, I'm alone here now. This is embarrassing. Yeah. So until Timpz is back, I guess tech guy has to entertain or something. I don't know how I should do that.
My computer is right here. I
Yeah,
ran to the other side of the building.
Murphy's Law.
No, it was on. God. Okay, maybe. Give me the USB. Ah. And I can't get it up because the internet cable.
Murphy's Law. Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. God, I'm sweating.
We got this, people. We got this.
Yeah, I just like. It's a very small file.
So yeah, how you doing, chat? Enjoying ESA? I hope so, because I am.
Oh, it was 70 megabytes, but that's fine. I thought it was like 2. Okay, should I take the mic back on?
Sure. I'm just stalling for time here.
Yeah, alright. Outside. I thought I was prepared, but no. I forgot something. And it was only the most important part. That's what happens when you sleep like 2 hours a night. Plug this in.
What?
There.
Forgot the emulator. Oh.
Yeah, and I couldn't connect to the internet and like whatever. We got it now. Okay.
I'm gonna wreck this room. Just cause. I need a cup of tea.
I don't know if we have sound. We don't really need sound, but like chat might like it.
Tell me when there's supposed to be sound and we'll see.
Yeah. There's supposed to be sound now.
Yeah, no, we don't have it.
Yeah, sound is not really important. Actually, I should just. I want to be Sonic alone here. There. So this is a emulator. It's a version of Jen's re-recording, basically, and it has a bunch of like things hacked to it so that you can well, make hacks more efficient, a more efficient way. So I'm gonna open a Lua script, and the Lua script is basically like a programming language for the emulator that you can like mix up yourself. It's probably not save. No, stop. Here we go. So yeah, this is just like the window. So these values right here are the subpixels, and the left one is like the absolute pixel from the left side, and similar in the y direction. You can see that even though I jump straight up and down, I don't get the same subpixels every time I land. And it's the same thing if I were to push against the wall somewhere. Let's see. This object is fine. Like you can see I'm pushing against it and it looks like I'm still, but my hitbox is going all about. And that's the same thing if you push against a regular wall instead of just like an object. So there's something we call subpixel manipulation, where you like try to influence exactly what subpixels you get when you start a level or you're trying to do a trick. One thing you can do, for example, is that like just jump to the right of the level, and you will like get a certain pixel value. So what I'm going to explain now is like just running in general. So Sonic accelerates at 12 subpixels per frame forwards. So what that means is that if I hold right for one frame, nothing happens. Hello? Does this not register? There we go. Where's this keyboard is weird. Where's pause or unpause? There's no unpause. What?
Unpause should be the same as pause, shouldn't it?
Look, there's no unpause.
Nope.
No home, or wait, no, home is there. But how do I unpause the emulator when the keyboard doesn't have like pause? I'm not even.
Pause it.
I used frame advance. Okay, I'll have to live without that. I guess maybe I'll try.
Just quickly going back, you said that when you jump and land, you don't have the same subpixels. Is that random?
It's not random in the sense that it's RNG, but it's random in the sense that you can't predict it. Like everything is following program or the code as it should be. Anyways, acceleration. So you can like see this was my X speed, and I think the value below is like my acceleration or my something similar. I don't really remember. It's not that important. But if I hold right for a second frame, like from 0 to 12, 12 to 24, then 24 to 36, so like I accelerate, my speed accelerates with 12 subpixels per frame. And then my position, as you can see here, it goes like plus 48. How is it? What is it called? Like it's like a exponent function, exponential. Like it works like acceleration in real life. Is what I'm trying to get at. The important part is like the 12 subpixels. For example, if you hold left and right at the same time, something weird happens because it adds the right and the backwards at the same time, because Sonic brakes faster than he accelerates forwards. So for example, if you were to hold left for one frame and then right immediately after, that would count as braking. And braking is like 5 times as high. Let's see the exact value. Holding back, Sonic decelerates at 128 pixels, like half a pixel per frame, compared to 12 subpixels per frame. So yeah, that's like that is 5 times faster. So for example, if Sonic were going 1 frame to the left and then 1 frame to the right, that would count as braking, and he would go like 4 times as fast the second frame than he would be if he like just held right for 2 frames. Because it doesn't, whenever his absolute speed reaches 0, it doesn't like reset and like redo the calculation. It just like flips over. So that's a technique usually commonly used in Sonic 1, because in Sonic 1 you can't spin dash. So like what you usually do is like do an acceleration jump. Like Sonic accelerates at 12 subpixels per frame on the ground, but he accelerates double, 24 pixels per frame in the air. So that's what's called an acceleration jump, when you just, I have to hold this one, and when you jump like this, you accelerate faster, and that's very common to see in Sonic 1 because of the spin dash. We don't really use it that much in Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's usually when you have things like speed shoes, for example, or supersonic, because, well, no, not really supersonic, I guess, but especially speed shoes, because when you spin dash with speed shoes, they don't really change the value of your spin dash speed, but they do make you faster. So it's faster to run to your full speed with speed shoes rather than spin dash, because spin dashing becomes slow in that instance. There's like, obviously there's also friction. Like if I just stop holding right, maybe I should put on inputs, by the way, so you can see what I'm actually doing.
Is this Fusion?
This is Jen's re-recording, and like a hacked version specifically for Sonic 2. You have others for Sonic 1 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I want my inputs to be on the bottom right corner, so people can actually see what's happening. There we go. Like you can see here, down here. I go left, right, jump. There's X and Y as well, or well, tails. That's player 2, actually. But I'm not going to use tails right now. So one quirk about like jumping or like being in the air in general is that, like I said, you have double the acceleration, but you also have no deceleration. There's like no air friction compared to like not holding anything on the ground, where he slowly like eventually stops. It's the same with rolling. The thing with rolling though is that rolling decelerates at 6 subpixels per frame, while running decelerates at 12, the same as acceleration. And that means that, for example, in Sonic 1 where you have a speed cap, it's very important to like plan out your rolls, because rolling is usually like can keep your momentum longer than just like running on the ground, and you can't hold right because then you hit the speed cap. So, but when you roll, you have to get out of the roll somehow, because like eventually you're gonna go below 6 pixels per frame, which is like Sonic's max speed. So you have to like plan all those out, and it's the same thing with spin dashing, because spin dashing might be like a quick way to get speed, but you also have to like, get it out in a clever way, so to say. So there's also like a couple movement locks. For example, if I hit the spring here, even if I hold right or left right now, I can't do anything at all. Nothing happens until a couple frames, and now he's starting to break. It's the same thing if I were to, for example, jump at a very high slope. I can't really do anything the first couple frames. And that's like more or less annoying, really, but you know, you have to deal with it with a game. So you have some stats like, okay, Sonic jumps at 6.5 pixels per frame upwards. That's basically how he's jumping. He's just like assigned that value as a velocity upwards. And also like his state is converted into like rolling. There are different states that like look if you're roll jumping, for example, if you jumped or rolled off a cliff, which is and they are important for whether you bounce on enemies, high or low, things like that. I need to find myself in on my cheat sheet again because I'm skipping things. Yeah, something people don't seem to realize is that you have to be absolutely still to be able to crouch. I really need an unpause button, please. Can't I escape and reassign to page down? No, that's not good because that's already used. Four. Numpad. There we go. Okay, so Sonic has to be absolutely still in order to be able to crouch in Sonic 2 and Sonic 1 as well. And that's true whether like he's on the ground or if he's on objects, like whatever, you know. But in Sonic 3 Knuckles, right, we can close Sonic ED right now. Sonic 3 Knuckles, no. There we go.
Just say, where's my stick? I can copy it over from mine.
Let's just start like that. Okay, so in Sonic 3 Knuckles, you can actually... I want that Lua input again, or Lua window. There we go. It's like, you can see that... And now I have to reassign the hotkeys again. Are you kidding me? Wow. Frame advance. There we go. So like, you can see that our speed is still like not 0, but we can like actually crouch. And I don't really exactly remember the value. Let's see. It is... I had it. 256 subpixels per frame. So like, this is the subpixel value of your current speed. And if that's lower than 256 subpixels...
Greetings from Josh.
I got it figured out. So it's no worries. But thanks anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, this is subpixel value, and that has to be lower than 256 for you to be able to spin dash. And that's something that is like one of the best things, or defining things about Sonic 3 Knuckles for me. Did it crash? Hello? Pad 1, no. Oh, whatever, I can use that. That's one of the defining differences to me between Sonic 1 and 2. Like, it's such a small change, but like, it makes spin dashing such a more versatile mechanic. But one of the things I find extremely weird, I couldn't find the code again in the time I had, but in Sonic 1 you can't, like when you're on objects, it's basically like Sonic 2 mechanics again. Like whenever I have speed at all, I hold down, nothing happens, and I just press something bad. It's basically Sonic 2 mechanics again, but the reason for it being that is because the developers actually hard-coded it into the game. Like they made a thing that said, okay, are you on an object? Yes. then don't crouch until you're absolutely still. Which I find like extremely weird, but that's how they made the game, I guess. So now we're going back to Sonic 2. That was just like a small detour. I'm gonna try and explain how the camera works quickly, because time is already running out. Wow, I fumble
You
with
can always
it.
just do the speedruns faster.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways,
Only about what, 30?
oh, by the way,
minutes?
these emulators are like really broken. So one thing about the camera is that whenever you spin dash, let's put on the speedometer. That's kind of interesting. Oh, not the movie. The speedometer, so you can like see. I think that's a cool thing, because you can actually see how spin dashing works in real time. I'm gonna explain that in a minute, but just for now. General, so many options, so little time. There we go. So the way the camera works in one way is that whenever you spin dash, the camera is like left behind for a couple frames. I think it's 18 frames. And they do that so that it should look like, oh gosh, Sonic is going real fast. But then if you like hit something and you do another spin dash, the camera like jerks back like this. Or didn't right there, but let's see. It doesn't want to jerk back here for some reason. I did it before. Let's see if we can find another spot. This should be good. Yeah. See, that's what happens sometimes in Sonic 1. Like, you try to spin dash, but you're not absolutely still. So yeah, now the camera is jerking back and it's going like almost beyond Sonic. And one thing about this game and many other Genesis games, I guess, is that whenever objects are off screen, they don't really exist. When they're far enough off screen, they don't have like certain properties, at least. And that's to conserve memory, obviously. But it also means like when you can manipulate the camera like that, you can like spin dash through solid objects or be unaffected by a path switcher. For example, if you can find a way to stop and then spin dash immediately, because you only have like 2-3 frames to do the second spin dash. The camera has like its own position values. For example, the top left of the camera is defined as 0, 0. And like, for example, the score, time, and rings isn't defined by level X and Y position. It's defined by camera position. So it's like two different ways of for the game to keep track of where things should go. And that is important for very few things, but one thing it is important for is a wrapping glitch, where the camera wraps vertically. So I need to manual level select here. So I'm gonna save state as well. In Metropolis, the level loops vertically to make it seem bigger than it really is. But the thing is that since 0 position is defined as the very top and the camera loops around, it has the same problem as like normal level wrapping, if you know about what that is. And that is like whenever you jump above the camera screen, it thinks that the value is really high, and then it automatically goes down to search for you, because a really high number is y is positive downwards. It doesn't like interpret negative numbers at all. So you can only look for you downwards, which is why this works like that. And right, I have a camera hack on, so you can see me and the level, whatever, instead of what the camera would see. So that looked a bit weird. Basically, the camera just like scrolls down until it comes back. And the same again, just like with the camera that jerks back when you spin dash like that, objects don't exist off screen. So you can like embed yourself within them. And they don't inject you unless you get really close to their edges. Why is Tails with me? Get out of here. Okay, that's fine. So one way the game detects collision, or well, the way the game does collect collision is by these plus signs. I would make this more like a little bit easier to see what it is, but I can't because this keyboard is dumb. Anyways, you can see the plus signs right here that Sonic has around his hitbox. Black plus is right here. The bottom ones look for floor. They only look for the blocks that are top or all solid, and they only look for that whenever you're like falling downwards or standing on the ground. So it's hard to see now because there's so many like hex values everywhere. But the plus signs follow the ground exactly, no matter if you're like on a slope or whatever. Might be easier to see here. Yeah, they follow like a straight path. And whenever you jump, you only have, it only looks for roof, a roof for example. Because why would it check for a floor when you're traveling upwards? It makes no sense. It wastes processing cycles. And the one quirk, or that gives you leeway to do certain glitches. Nothing you can do in this level that I know of.
Is that what works in Hydro City too, with the slope?
No.
Oh, okay.
The slopes there are actually just top solid.
Oh.
So if you're traveling upwards, you're basically coming from them underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not solid that
Okay.
from that direction at all.
So it's a similar but different mechanic then?
No.
Oh.
What I'm trying to explain here is that if you have a solid wall and you're traveling upwards, like the game doesn't look for a floor. And if you're like far up enough that the wall detectors don't register, like if this plus sign was right above this wall and you were traveling upwards, yeah, I would go like inside the floor, and then whenever I start falling down, these plus signs would be far enough into the wall that I wouldn't like clip to the top of it. I would like fall through instead.
Okay, is that why the stair clip in Lava Reef works?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's also the way that some of the glitches in Starlight Zone that I'm gonna do in Sonic 1 later, how they work. In Sonic 1 also, the lower boundary of the camera is defined as the kill plane. In the Sonic 1 and in Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 Knuckles, it's defined as like a specific point somewhere like at the bottom of the level. You can still like go over the boundary and fall back down because the game keeps track of you looping in those areas. But in Sonic 1, it's defined as whenever you go below the screen, you die, and that's the problem in Green Hill 1, for example, because like there's a place where the camera can't catch up, and you just die if you try to be fast. The camera is also important for most like triggers in the game, so to speak. For example, with bosses, if we just What's a nice neat wrap? Let's do Evolution. Oh. That bodes ill for later. Oh wow. I can't see anything, but that's okay. All I'm trying to do is like do the wrap so like you can see how the boss work. You can see here like, okay, when I press on that button, I don't hold right. And we can actually enable all these again. So if I don't hold the button, he just automatically pushes into this, and he will always get the same subpixel when he lands into the wall in here. And then when I hold right, like I will have the same position. So right there was a wrap, a level wrap, in fact. And it's the same thing as a Y position wrap in Metropolis, only it works like with the level itself. The level has like a 16 pixel buffer area where you can't really go through unless you go faster than 16 pixels per frame. I'm actually gonna draw something in Paint real quick to try and explain. If you have, let's say this is like a 16 pixel wide block that is in your way and you want through it. And this is Sonic right here. He's like in a ball, as you can see. So the game like calculates your position each frame. So one frame you might be on this pixel, then right here. Maybe there, and maybe there. If you're going at like, 16 pixels per frame, for example, and you're not like, no matter how, as long as you're under 16 pixels per frame, you can't go past this wall, because at least one of the frames you will be inside this 16 pixel frame wide wall. And the game like, when it detects this frame that you're inside the wall, it says no, you have to stop, and it like puts you here instead. Let's say you would go 20 pixels per frame, for example, and you will be there, you'd be there, you'd be there, and then it says, oh, you hit the wall again, a frame earlier, but you still hit the wall, so like, sorry, you can't go through. But if you have like a slightly different positions, like if you were to start from here instead, and you have the same amount of frames, and now you have like 2 frames like on each side and nothing in between, and the game doesn't check like in between frames where you're gonna be, so that would allow you to just like run straight through the block. And that's what happened when I wrapped here. Like I got a very high speed out of the wall, and I had the right subpixel, because sometimes it's that tight that subpixels matter, not just like macro pixels or whatever. And the game, like this is the 0 position right here. This is like plus 10 maybe, and this is minus, I don't know, 20 maybe, but the X position is unsigned, so it takes like the highest value, the highest X position in the level that is defined, minus 20, and that's like your new position. So I don't know, like let's say 20,000, like that. I can't paint. I hope you know what I mean. So right here, where am I? The camera hack is on right now. I can't turn it off, of course.
Okay.
But what the camera hack does is basically show your position while you're off screen, and while the camera like pans to you. You can't see me right now, I'm right there. You can see me like B000, that's me. Hello B0000. Then finally, when the camera reaches the boss area, the boss starts to load. It doesn't load when Sonic gets near, it loads whenever the camera gets near. And what it does is like it locks the camera within a very specific range and then starts loading the boss. What's it called? The art for the boss. And I'm gonna try and show that in action. It's on my other disk here. Debut gens. I'm probably gonna crash the computer eventually. There's no disk in the drive. Well, I guess we can't show that then. Oh wait, maybe we can.
Is this a recording that you're trying to open?
No.
Alright.
But actually, we can just like we don't have to like actually dump the VRAM. We can just like open my old files from whatever I did. I don't remember, but it should be just fine. Unload all. Oh no. Here we go. That's something, right?
Yeah, that looks like it.
Let's load the palette as well. I think it was this one, so it should be that one. And it. Oh right, Sonic 3 Knuckles as well. I don't recognize this palette, but the principle still holds. This is like the entire CRAM of, or video RAM of a level. You can see the numbers right here. That's like the current score or whatever that the game shows. Maybe you have some enemies here. Yeah, this is like a boss bomber. You can like try and build him, something like that. I don't know. You can kind of see what it is. But anyways, the game has all these like sprites in it that are built, and whenever you get close to the end, I do a rap, for example, and I'm getting close to the signpost, it starts loading the signpost video RAM. But if I hit the signpost frame perfectly, it keeps the same the same data in the video RAM. It doesn't have time to load anything else. And so that's why whenever I do a wrap, I'm trying to hit the signpost as fast as possible. And if I hit that frame perfectly, it means that it doesn't have time to load the actual like art for the signpost. And so it looks garbled, but it's like, it makes perfect sense. I'm running out of time, so I'm just gonna have a very quick look at a few glitches that most people might know of. It's not gonna be long, as long as the computer doesn't crash. Hard reset. So, I have ESA.
Got a question from the J-Mat. He says, can you ask Timpz what causes the game to freeze if you kill the Oil Ocean boss on a specific frame?
That's basically like a jump error somewhere. Like the game is full of like weird bugs that under very specific conditions just make the game crash. For example, there's the Rexon crash, where you kill a Rexon off screen, and that creates like a jump somewhere into the code where it's not supposed to do. It like works fine otherwise, but like just that specific situation makes like a weird branch.
Is that the same with the Silver Sonic glitch as well?
I think so. It must be so. I have no other explanation for it. But I was gonna. Okay, speed shoes underwater. That is a glitch. I'm going to try to explain. If I can. No. No, wait. I had that. Right. So in Aquatic Ruin 1, you have a couple speed shoes underwater. And you're thinking, hey, I want to get those. Like, you go real fast when you have speed shoes. So you pick them up, right? But oh, like, joke's on you. They don't actually make you faster. Oh. It's like, I'm faster in the water right now, right? But as soon as I exit the water, I have normal physics. I'm slower now than I was in the water. And
Your
also,
speed shoe is still on, at least. Time for your speed shoe is still active. Didn't know that.
yeah, it is. Because the timer... That's another glitch with the speed shoes, actually. It uses the like level timer to count down. So if you beat a level when you have speed shoes, you keep the speed shoes until the level ends, because the timer is stopped.
Okay.
But yeah, what I was trying to show right now is just like, if I get speed shoes and I'm like, I have them above water and I go into the water, I lose them again. And we're gonna show you this part right here. This is extracted from the like ROM of the game. So let's see. What part was it? Yeah, right here. So like, this is the object, so to say, that like makes you into the like underwater state. So and you have here, it decreases your top speed, regardless if you have speed shoes or not. And changes your acceleration and deceleration or whatever. It tests if you have, if you're supersonic, and then it gives you different values. I think that's like around the normal values you have as sonic over water, but it doesn't check for speed shoes. So that's just like an oversight they made. We also have another bug. I'm not sure if it has an official name. Like if you jump into a wall like this, you will land in the air and slowly fall down. It's hard to see with the hitbox perhaps, but I can't turn it off because, again, keyboard. You can see the camera jerking Y-words. So Sonic is smaller as a ball. You can see his hitbox right now. And whenever I roll, it becomes smaller. Right? And the same thing happens when I jump. Because, get out of here, Tails, you don't belong. You can see that when I jump, the same thing happens, my hitbox gets smaller. But when I do a roll, when I spin dash, you can see that my hitbox gets smaller when I crouch. It gets the normal size when I start spin dashing. It gets small when I like release the spin dash, and if I jump, it becomes my like normal height again. And that doesn't really make sense. And I'm gonna show you why that is. Just can't type. So we have this part in the code. It sets to his height and width whenever you jump, and then it checks like, okay, are you rolling? If you do, you branch down here, and it says like it sets a rolling plus jumping flag, and that basically just makes you not be able to control yourself in the air. But then it returned to a subroutine. So it doesn't set the rolling height and width again. And you can like, yeah. So this is basically what's happening. I'm rolling here, and it's setting to height and width, like so. And it's setting the rolling plus jumping flag, but it doesn't set back to the rolling height and width. And whenever I fall down, because Sonic is smaller as a ball, when he like goes to the ground, he must be moved up 5 pixels into the so that his hitbox doesn't get embedded into the ground. But since his hitbox is the normal size instead of the ball size, whenever he roll jumps, he gets moved 5 pixels into the air rather than like what happens when you just like jump normally. I don't know how much time I have. I have a couple more glitches I could like to talk about.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah.
I have 1 minute.
Alright, speedrun them.
Yeah, it's too much. 1 hour wasn't enough, and I had some problems. I can actually. Shilko, slope glitch. Is it this one? No. Well, I can't even find it, so it's whatever. There's a lot of more information about these on like Sonic Retro and Sonic speedrunning. Oh, what am I saying? Sonic Stuff Research Group, the Sonic Center, Speed Demos Archive. I've made videos. There's lots of stuff to know. Hopefully this will like make you give you a clearer picture of what I'm trying to do when I'm playing the games in like 5 minutes. So that, because it's so hard to explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it, because it's so complex. I had an hour now, and it wasn't enough. So should we set up the game?
Yep.
All right. Do anyone have any like quick questions?
No, I think we sort of covered everything. I think there's only one or two other, but you kind of talked about those anyway, so we'll go for asking them.
All right.
What we could probably say is just like I've plugged it in chat, but just like your Twitch and YouTube channels, because you do like.
Yeah, like if anyone has any questions, you're free to ask, because I love to like help people who like Sonic as much as I. But yeah, let's set up Sonic 1. I haven't slept enough last night, so we'll see how this goes, but I'll do my best.